Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Parlay. It is Sunday morning. I got my favorite beat from Awthentik and The Beard. Rocking. I'm ready to roll. It is week 3, fantasy football, NFL bets, red zone, your home team, your second home team. Man, I am pumped. I am ready for some fantasy football. I'm ready for some Washington football team. And I know my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Awthentik, is ready for some New York Giants football. How are you doing today, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm feeling like I'm on my last thread right now with these New York Giants, man. Got to get it done today. But I'm looking forward to chopping it up with these games. Should be an interesting Sunday, man. We got a bunch of big games, man. So I'm looking forward to this, man.
Yeah, definitely am. And shout out to everybody that is in the chat right now, watching across all the streaming platforms. We are on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter
now.
all over the
they
place.
swapped
Twitter
that out
now.
from that whole Periscope vibe they was doing.
Yes,
I like that, man.
Yes, sir. So shout out to everybody who is watching us across all those platforms. Before we get started today, I do want to give a big shout out to the Tagliere family. Unfortunately, Mike Tagliere passed away yesterday from COVID. He was a pillar in the fantasy football community. He was also a loving husband and father. I did put a link to the GoFundMe for the family in the description of this video. So definitely want to send our thoughts to the Tagliere family during this tough time. Just the amount of support and love that was pouring out from the fantasy football community on Twitter since yesterday has just been crazy. So definitely wanted to, shed some light on that situation and show some love and do what we can do to help support that family during this tough time. We are about 2 hours away from kickoff. I got Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport on the line.
Got him in the group text.
Got him in the group text. So anything that pops off, we will definitely let you know. There are some injuries that we will be keeping our eye on today. I was talking to Awthentik before we went on air. It looks like Dalvin Cook is probably not going to play. Darrell Henderson is already ruled out pretty much. Yep. And I think Awthentik said Kenny Galladay is ready to rock and roll
Just
today.
got news on that one. Kenny Galladay is good to go.
So we are looking also for news on DeAndre Hopkins and a few others. Evan Ingram, hopefully, I think he's going to probably play today. So we're looking at all those injury reports. If anybody has any questions related to their fantasy football teams, don't forget you can put those in the chat, and we will do our best to make sure we get to all of those. And we're going to go ahead and get this party started because we got some games to talk about. The first game on the docket today is going to be, it's a big one. The Los Angeles Chargers, who are 1-1, are going to be taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, who are also 1-1. The Chiefs are 7-point favorites. The over-under is 54.5 points. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Man, this is like the battle of the red zone is what I'm going to call it. Because the Chargers,
struggle of the red zone.
The Chargers cannot seem to punch the ball in the red zone. And the Chiefs, like last year, they're pretty bad in the red zone. So is this the game where the Chargers kind of, take that turn for the best? And that Chiefs run defense is pretty bad. I'm looking for Austin Eckler to have a huge game today, catching the ball, running the ball. On the Chiefs side, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, those are the two main weapons, right?
Facts.
So it really depends on who the Chargers decide to take away out of this game. And the Chargers so far this year have not been stuffing the box at all. They've been playing a lot of the two safeties, high situations. So I think you can expect to see a lot of that today, probably trying to take away the deep ball from Tyreek Hill. But that opens up the door for Travis Kelce, who last season and already this season just straight feasted on the two high safeties. He was like the best in the league in receiving yards and touchdowns against that look. So I definitely am looking for Travis Kelce to also have a huge game today. What are your thoughts on the Chargers and the Chiefs, Awthentik?
I'll start with the Chargers, man. I think that people kind of overhyped this team coming into this season. Only had 7 wins, I believe, last season. And people kind of thinking they should be a playoff contender this year, but I think the first couple of weeks kind of show us that team is still not ready. You brought up the red zone problems that the Chargers are having, along with the Chiefs as well. But also the Chargers defense is just not there. And penalties, man. Penalties have been kicking their butt for these first 2 games. But I do like Justin Herbert in this game. He definitely sliced up this Chiefs defense last season twice. 300 yards plus in both games. He had 4 passing touchdowns and 1 interception combined. But on the other side, Patrick Mahomes, 16-2 in division games since starting his NFL career, 35 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So I think you could pick any quarterback in this game. I also like Mike Williams. If you look at the last time that these two teams met last season, week 17, he had 22.8 points. And 2 of his 4 top fantasy games have came against the Kansas City Chiefs. So I like Mike Williams in this matchup. I think Keenan Allen's a guy you know is a must start for sure on that side of the ball. But I do like Mike Williams' upside a little bit more in this game. As far as the over-under, you know we going to get there. You know in this game, you know we going to get there. This going to be a high-scoring, high-flying game, barn burner maybe as we like to call them or don't like to call them on Awthentik and The Beard. But Give me Kansas City in this game. I'll take the over, and I think Kansas City will cover that 7.
That right there is the biggest question. Can Kansas City cover? Because it feels like it's been an eternity since Kansas City actually covered a spread. I mean, they win the games. You know, they're a good bet money line, except for last week. They killed me in a parlay. I had them on the money line, and as that game was going along, I was just like, why didn't I just pick Baltimore to cover the spread? Like, that would have been the easiest thing to do. But no. I picked the Chiefs on the money line.
You could have picked Baltimore outright like me, man, you know?
Yeah, I could have, but, you know, we can't all be authentic.
Hey, the way your confidence is set up.
All right, I'm gonna take the Chiefs to win, but I am gonna take the Chargers to cover that spread. I think this, and I'm gonna take the over, like you said. There's no way we don't get there. And shout out to Cernock in the chat, says substitute barn burner for boat race.
Boat race, kind of like that.
Have you seen the new Cocaine Cowboys?
No, I have not.
Okay, they were professional speedboat racers and professional.
Oh, maybe I did see that. I kind of got a little disinterested as I was watching that joint because I feel like they've told that story so many times.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many Cocaine Cowboys. You can't keep up with them all. But,
yeah,
so we're going to go boat race. It's going to be a boat race today between the Chargers and the Chiefs.
I like that, though. We'll swap that out because that barn burner got some stuff behind it, but the history of it is not working out for us.
Not working out. Shout out to Waterfly in the chat. Shout out to Cody in the chat. Certified Yam in the chat. Perry Mack in the chat. Man, there's a lot of Giants fans in the chat.
We ready for that dub today. You know what it
is. So we're going to get to a quick question from Kalen Dragon 56. Says, do you guys think a running back combo, Jonathan Taylor and Trey Sermon, is good with Dalvin Cook out? I think it's fantastic that you actually have that option. I'm going to talk a little bit about both of these running backs at some point today. But Jonathan Taylor, I'll just throw you this little tidbit early. He has the most carries inside the 10-yard line and inside the 5-yard line so far this season. He has not punched it in. He hasn't capitalized on those.
I was about to say because we got him on one of our squads, and it hasn't been a great start to the season for Jonathan Taylor. But I know that's your man's.
He is he has not capitalized on that yet, but I think this is going to be the game that he does. And Trey Sermon is the only basically healthy running back. I mean, they got some other guys they brought up on the practice squad, but he's pretty much the only healthy running back over there.
What's the other backup over there with the Vikings?
Alexander Madison.
Madison, that's his name? Yeah, is he hurt too?
No, he's there. He's in.
He's there. Okay.
Yeah, he's going to be starting, and he performed really well in replace of Dalvin Cook last year when Dalvin Cook
his
was
running
hurt.
style was very similar, I remember.
Very
so
similar,
it shouldn't be too much of a drop-off.
Definitely. Shout out to Shazad checking in from
what's up,
across
Shazad?
the pond. Says, hi, Awthentik and Tim. I think there might be a whole chicken hiding in Tim's beard.
That's funny.
All right. We're going to move on to the next game, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints, who are 1-1, at the New England Patriots, who are 1-1. The Patriots are favored to win this game right now by 3 points. The over-under is 42.5. This game kicks off at Sunday, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All of these lines have been updated before we went on air, so as of about 10:30-ish, these are the latest lines according to FanDuel Sportsbook. So if you guys want to grab any of these bets, you can do so based upon these numbers. Man, Jameis Winston, I mean, that's the question. Which Jameis Winston are we going to get? The New England Patriots put up, they had 4 interceptions against, albeit Zach Wilson last week. But Jameis Winston also threw himself a couple of interceptions last week. So that's kind of the matchup I'm looking at right now. Also, Alvin Kamara, who basically disappeared last week. The Patriots' run defense is probably the weakest, of the 2 defensive components, whether it be passing or rushing. So the Jets were actually able to run the ball fairly well against the Patriots last week. So, I would imagine that they try to get Alvin Kamara, situated in this game early and often. That would be the ideal thing. Now, Mac Jones hasn't really been asked to do a lot passing the ball lately. I know somebody that we had talked about previously was Jacoby Myers. Hasn't really had one of those, a breakout performance in these first 2 weeks. So is this the week where the Saints, who are pretty good against the run, force Mac Jones to throw the ball, and can he come through? Those are kind of like the players and, matchups that I'm looking at. This game is really tough. To be honest with you, I stayed away from this game on my parlays that I placed, my bets that I placed. That 3 points is super difficult, A, and B, I don't really know which Saints team is going to show up. You know, so it's I'm kind of still undecided on this game. It is in New England, so I guess that kind of is something you can lean towards. But I don't know. I'm kind of lost on this game. What are your? I'm gonna have to wait for some authentic mojo before I make my decision.
This game is very difficult. I mean, the Carolina Panthers defense last week, the way they shut out Alvin Kamara was really ridiculous. 8 carries for 5 yards. That don't even sound like a stat line for him. So I mean, I'm right there with you. I don't know what Saints team we're gonna get in this game. We don't know what Jameis Winston we're gonna get in this game. They were held to 128 total yards in week 2, so I don't know how much that says about the Panthers defense, which we saw that Panthers defense Thursday night, albeit against the Texans, but, they still showed up and would have banged up. CMC still found a way to get the dub. This is one you want to wait and see, man. I think on New England side of the ball, I like the running back situation with both Damian Harris and James White. I like Damian Harris in the running game. I like James White in the passing game, especially when they get in the red zone. But I guess I'm just gonna go with Vegas on this one. I'm gonna take New England. I'll take the 42. Yeah, I'll take the over in this one, and I think New England will cover. Jameis, struggles when he's behind, so I think that's the problem. It's if the Saints get behind in this game, you're gonna see an ugly Jameis Winston. So plan on it getting real sloppy from the quarterback position there. If they can't stay in this game. But, New England hasn't shown that they can put up a lot of points on the board. Week 1, I want to say they put up 17. I can't remember what it was week 2, but Mac Jones has not been lighting it up. So there's that. I'm going to just go with Vegas on this one. This is the kind of game, like you were saying, you want to stay away from if you're doing some betting.
So speaking of Damian Harris, Edward Graham has a question. Should I start Damian Harris as my second running back against the Saints D or bench him for Miles Sanders?
Ooh, I like Damian Harris better in this matchup. The divisional game with Miles Sanders, I think the Cowboys are going to come out, try to step it up, and try to put a stop to the run first and force Jalen Hurts to pass the ball. So, and I think Edwards is an Eagles fan. I can't remember. I remember meeting him in one. I actually met him in Lawrence Stream. I think he's a Giants fan, actually. But, yeah, I'm going Damian Harris on that one.
It's a little difficult. I too, like Damian Harris. I think that, in the week 1, I want to believe he was one of the top 5, running backs as far as the amount of volume carries that he was receiving. But I think he only played around 40% in week 2 of the offensive snaps. And I guess that always depends upon the game plan. But for me, I like how they're using Miles Sanders so far this year. I just think that he's such a dual threat, and he's always a threat for a big play. And that Cowboys defense, we're still out. The jury's still out. Are they, this much improved? Are they still the defense from last year? I mean, obviously they're not that bad.
No, it's not. It's not the defense from last year. We know that now. I mean, they lead the league in takeaways right now.
Yeah, they do. So, I mean, maybe that is even more of a reason why they try to put the ball in Miles Sanders' hands to kind of, not have those turnovers from Jalen Hurts. To me, it's a coin flip. I can see, Authentic's point of going with Damian Harris. Me personally, I'm gonna rock with Miles Sanders in that situation.
When I first read it, I thought it was a coin flip one too, Canning front.
Yeah. So, I guess I'm going to take the Saints. I think I picked the Patriots in my pick'em league, but I'm gonna take the Saints. I think Jameis Winston comes out. He has a lot to prove. This is against everything I believe in, but I'm gonna go with Jameis Winston.
I don't like this already. I don't like this. Just the way it sounds.
So I'm gonna go with the Saints, and I'm actually going to go with the over as well. I think it'll be interesting. I think Mac Jones has his first interception this game.
We need to tally up these games because I feel like I'm doing good. And that take right there, man, I don't know about that one. I'm gonna go Jameis Winston. Yeah. Sounds
maybe this is my Twitter clip of the weekend. We'll see.
Maybe my Twitter clip of the weekend. I like that.
All right, next game on the slate. Speaking of rookie quarterbacks, it's the Chicago Bears, who are 1-1. And they will be heading to Cleveland, who is also 1-1. Cleveland is a 7.5-point favorite. The over-under is 44.5. This game kicks off at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Awthentik, tell me what you got.
What I got is the return of my man OBJ in the lineup one time.
Let's go. I knew it.
Let's go. I'm trying to see my homie go off today, man. So best of luck to Odell Beckham Jr. with the Browns today. You know you got Jarvis Landry out of the lineup. Shout out to Sunday in the building. What's good? So that should maybe open up some things for OBJ. Now, just getting back on his first game, I'd kind of pump the brakes on starting him, but being that they got one of their number one guys out of the lineup at wide receiver, who knows, man? If you're struggling at, the wide receiver position, throw my man Odell Beckham in your lineup. Queen Diva, is that what I saw? Oh, man, the disrespect they be putting on my dude's name. I just don't get it. Shout out my homie Nick the Wig one time. I got the Odell Beckham jersey on that back wall signed by yours truly, Odell Beckham. But also, I think in this game, man, Justin Fields, man, this is the first official start. We got to see how he performs. He's the 36th different starting quarterback for the Bears since 1989. That's the second most in the NFL over that span, behind not the Washington football team, the Browns, who had 37 quarterbacks. Shout out to Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield balling out right now, man. 81.6 completion percentage on the season in 2 games. That's the highest in the NFL. I'm looking to start him in this game. I think Baker's going to take care of the ball. We know that the Browns team is predicated on the run, so Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, you know what to do there. But on the opposite side, you got David Montgomery, man. 18.5 fantasy points on the road, 5 times in his career. 4 of them have came in his last 4 road games. They on the road today, so I like David Montgomery in this matchup. Cleveland by 7.5. I think that the Bears are going to cover that. I think they're going to cover that. Give me the over 44.5 in this game. And, yeah, I think the 7.5 is just a little too much.
Look, Justin Fields, I mean, if you watched any of these games, the Bears games, right, even when he's not playing, they're still showing him more than they were showing Andy Dalton. So everybody's kind of been waiting for this moment. He got into the game last week, didn't particularly look that good. He didn't necessarily look that bad. Now, there was a pass dropped by Allen Robinson that was an absolute dime that Justin Fields threw. So, I mean, I'm interested to see. And this is not an easy matchup. This Cleveland Browns defense has not been performing up to their standards so far. But, I mean, when you have Clowney and Garrett on your 2 edges, now that might make for a difficult day for Justin Fields. Now, the guy who I really like, who is questionable coming to this game, but I think he's going to play, he's a gamer, is Darnell Mooney. Has been absolutely consistent this season. He's getting a ton of targets. He's got a ton of catches. He might not be, the big play threat so far, but he has been making a lot of those catches. He reminds me kind of a Sterling Shepard, the way that he's been performing so far this season. So I definitely would keep my eye on Darnell Mooney for sure. And Odell Beckham Jr., I mean, he's going to have to step up immediately. There's no easing him in because there's no Jarvis Landry. So, I mean, Odell Beckham, I drafted him because I thought he was going to have a great season because
he went high in fantasy leagues too. He went a little higher than I expected.
Yeah, and so I'm really gonna have my eye on OBJ today. I mean, it's just like you said, I can't start him yet because I gotta see how
and I'll tell you what about OBJ. Like when he came back off that ankle injury, he's not the kind of guy you got to worry about tiptoeing on the injury. Kind of like what Giants fans are thinking what's happening with Saquon Barkley right now, kind of a mental thing. I don't think you got to worry about that with Odell Beckham. He's gonna go out there and do what he could do today. I wouldn't expect like a huge day, but I would expect a couple catches and maybe a touchdown. You can expect a fantastic pregame warm-up as well. You know you're going to get that out of Odell Beckham for sure.
And Nick Chubb's probably going to have a big game today. I just think that without Jarvis Landry and without fully knowing how, OBJ is going to be playing, I think you're going to see a big game from Nick Chubb today as well. So I would definitely rock with Nick Chubb. Yeah. I'm going to take Cleveland to win the game. That 7.5 definitely scares me. I'm going to take the Bears to cover that. I think they probably lose by a touchdown. Which is why that half point kind of scares me. The over-under is kind of interesting. I'm going to take the over. I think you're going to see some electric plays here. Justin Fields, you might see it. Justin Fields is probably going to have, I'd say, between 60 and 80 yards rushing today.
So you take the over, probably looking at like 27-20.
Yeah, I think that's an absolutely perfect score.
I want to take it back now and maybe take the under. I don't know. I'm going to take the under. I'm switching it. I'm taking the under on that because I just feel like Baker and them are going to take care of this game early on and probably just coast to a victory, maybe put up like 13-ish or something like that. But the Bears are hard to read, man. Even dating back to last season, you remember how they started off? They were like 5-2 in the beginning of the year, and then they lost 5 straight.
Then they played really well at the end, and they had the whole Trubisky fiasco going on. So, they're definitely a hard team to gauge. That defense, you just don't know. Like, sometimes their defense looks really good, and sometimes their defense looks very, very bad. So
and offense, too, predicated on Dave Montgomery having good games, which when he's out the lineup, I want to say when they lost their 5 games, he was out the lineup for 4 of them. So he's a big part of that team. But he got his first 1,000 yards last year, I believe. So he's kind of just getting into his own now. Hopefully he can stay healthy and the Bears keep his game close.
And big shout out to Awthentik. Awthentik is a David Montgomery truther, and I don't think David Montgomery gets enough love. So
he doesn't.
Big shout out to Awthentik, always bringing up some good David Montgomery nuggets.
Oh, I see some Giants fans in the building one time too. Carr or Stafford, I like that. I see Nate Talk Sports, Joseph Balby, Joel, all in the chat. Giants Nation in the building one time. Flip a coin on that. Y'all know I love Derek Carr. Derek Carr been doing it for a long time. But Matthew Stafford in that new offense looks really good. And that Bucs defense, they already showed you against Dallas. They not fantastic. They not where they were last year. So I might lean towards Stafford a little bit more in this one, man. I'm looking for the Rams to show out today for real.
Yeah, I'm going to run with Stafford. Derek Carr, we're big Derek Carr guys here. But that matchup against Miami, I think they're going to run the ball. I think they're going to end up running the ball a lot. So,
with Jacoby Brissett?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think that game's going to get out of control early. So, Stafford's going to have to keep up with Brady's offense. So I think Stafford throws the ball today 60 times.
No way. Over 60. I'm taking the under.
60 passes for Matt Stafford today.
Here comes your clip right here for Twitter. Now, I might take Derek Carr against the Dolphins, man. The Dolphins have looked bad, man. They've looked really bad. And they got blown out last week. I believe it was like 35-7.
Nothing.
35-0 to the Bills. And that I am concerned about that when picking Derek Carr, though, is Josh Allen had I don't even think he threw for a touchdown in a 35-0 blowout. He had a very pedestrian type day. So flip the coin on that one. Y'all know I'm a big Derek Carr supporter. Key says 60. I know. 60 is crazy, yo. 60 is crazy.
Oh, man. Another quick question. Over under 25 yards for Kadarius Toney. I'm going to go over. I think this is a important game for him. And 25 yards. I think he might get 25. That over on one play.
You're getting a little bit of click over there. I'm thinking, let me see. Kadarius Toney over 25. Are they going to implement him in this game plan? I think it's really dependent on if the Giants can really blow out the Falcons in this game or keep it a 2-score game, because then Jason Garrett can kind of get off into doing some more experimental type things with the offense and maybe kind of see what you got out of the rookie. But there's clearly something wrong here. And if you look at the Jason Garrett press conference, he alluded to that, saying Kadarius Toney is a guy who wasn't really here for most of the camp, so if the game is close, I don't know how much we're going to see Toney involved in the game plan. We'll see. To me, it strikes me as he's just not ready. Wasn't there for a lot of camp, and the playbook kind of could be a little bit overwhelming for him right now, but we'll see.
Authentic. It was Lauren, a.k.a. She Got Sports Channel.
Yep.
However, she'll tell you that I'm a diehard Bucs fan, but I do like the Giants. New York Giants is my second NFL.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up.
How's that
Bucs
click?
Nation in the building one time. No, you good to go. Good to go.
Good. Lucas says, hey, chill on my Dolphins.
Hey, Lucas, I'm sorry, bro. They a little bit overrated, you know? They were talking about the best rebuild since the Colts and all that. And now it's looking like Tua's not the guy. His hip, his ribs, or whatever it is, he's looking banged up. It's going to be tough. Jacoby Brissett, I got a nugget when we get to that game. Nugget alert.
Nugget alert. Where's Cernog with a nugget alert in the chat? Shout out to Cernog. Next game on the docket's going to be the Baltimore Ravens, who are 1-1. They are 7.5-point favorites at the Detroit Lions, who are 0-2. The over-under is 50.5. This game kicks off at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, the Lions might not be the best team, but they're not the worst team. They might be the worst team.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Fantasy-wise, there are some people that are putting up some interesting numbers. T.J. Hawkinson.
Facts.
Is putting up wide receiver numbers. I mean, the dude is he's almost in that realm of Darren Waller number of targets. You know, like he's that guy. And somebody who I'm kind of high on right now, who has shown that he's gonna be a part of this offense, especially with Williams, other wide receiver for the Lions who has been out. I mean, if you can name the Lions wide receivers, you're a G, or your name is Troy and you're a Detroit Lions fan.
Facts.
But Quez
in the building.
Quez Cephas is the guy who I'm looking at right now.
Is the guy? I like
that. He's gonna have a big game. So Cephas and my boy T.J. Hawkinson, who I made a very bad bet against this season. I'm already regretting 2 weeks in. I made a bet with Mark Kulkowski that Kyle Pitts would have more touchdowns and more receiving yards than T.J. Hawkinson, and that's not looking like.
Oh yeah, TJ, you want a little nugget on T.J. Hawkinson? I got a little nugget over here.
Give me the nuggets.
Okay, he never had a game with at least 8 catches and a touchdown entering the 2021 season. However, he's done it in both of the first 2 weeks already. So you looking like you real behind on that bet right now. The homie you were talking about, the guy, what's the guy's name? The wide receiver you were just talking about? Cephas. I saw a lot of people talking about you should sit him. This Ravens defense is no slouch. You know, the Lions are maybe the worst team in the NFL. We can't rule that out right now. I keep him on the bench. Lamar Jackson, y'all know what it is. 4 straight games with 80 rushing yards. It's the longest streak of his career right now. The Lions are looking to avoid 0-3, which that will be the first time since 2015. Baltimore has 41 straight games with 100 rushing yards. It's the second longest streak in NFL history. So get your running backs lined up for the Baltimore Ravens, whoever you want to scoop, and enter them in your lineup. I like the Ravens in this game, man. I think they're going to cover. As far as that over-under, I think we're not going to get there simply off the fact that the Lions are not going to put up a lot of points in this game.
Well, I mean, Tyson Williams has proven that he's going to be pretty good fill-in for J.K. Dobbins, and I actually really like Latavius Murray and Tyson Williams as like a combo of running backs.
Latavius Murray is like the Ryan Fitzpatrick of running backs. Where do you guys need somebody? I'm here. Bam, sign me. 1-year deal. I'll be a backup, dual threat, fake thunder. I like it. It's good vibes.
I like it too. And also, big shout out to Lamar Jackson, for getting that win last week. He's going to have a big game.
They said his stomach was doing something again. You know what I'm saying?
And then
I don't know what's going on with the pals.
They
jumped the gun on the flip. That's
you know how they do. They always got something to try and drag our boy down with. But I think this game gets to over. I'm surprised that this spread is only 7.5 and not more. So I'm going to take Baltimore Ravens minus 7.5. I'm going to take the over. T.J. Hawkinson's going to have a big game. I think Lamar's probably going to have a big game. I think this game's going to be big. I think it's going to be a lot of explosive plays.
Can you imagine how hyped Lamar Jackson is right now coming off that win against the Chiefs? He's about to be playing some of his best football. I'd look for about 4 to 5 weeks of fantastic football from Lamar Jackson, riding that high, beating the Chiefs, man. First time in his career.
He has to have that Lamar MVP season this year because of all the injuries that the Ravens have. Like, it's on him again. And the contract negotiations, everything. I think this is, he's going to be in the conversation for MVP towards the end of, the year. That's for sure.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if he's not and his team is not excelling in the playoffs, we know he's going to get all the blame, unlike a lot of other quarterbacks. It's quiet right now about Josh Allen after that 35-0 blowout. But he's not playing up to that MVP caliber the first 2 weeks of the season. So we'll see. I need him to step up today. I don't need Washington to get no W's today, bro.
Shout out to the Sideline Breaks. If you guys are into card breaks, sports cards, definitely check out the Sideline Breaks on Facebook. They're asking, should I stack Rams and Bucks in my daily? Lastly, Stafford or Danny Dimes. So in daily fantasy, there's going to be a lot of people playing the Rams and the Bucks. So obviously it depends on the size of that tournament that you're playing in. If I'm going to stack them, I'm probably going to stack, I'll go Matthew Stafford. I'll bring it back with Mike Evans because no Antonio Brown. And more people will probably play Godwin. So I'd go Matthew Stafford, Robert Woods, because everybody's going to play Cooper Kupp. So I'm going to go Matthew Stafford, Robert Woods, and Mike Evans was going to be my stack. And then Matthew Stafford or Danny Dimes. I actually really like Danny Dimes today. And I'm actually have a really nice DraftKings lineup that I put together with Danny Dimes. But in season long, I'd have to go with Matthew Stafford just because I think he's going to pass the ball 60 times. If I didn't,
yeah, you did say that. Yeah, go with Danny Dimes today. Danny Dubs after we get this W today for sure, man. It's going to be a big day for the kid. Carson Wentz officially active, and Joey Bosa with that ankle injury is officially active as well. And it says Hopkins is officially up, so I think he's active as well.
It's going to be an interesting day of football, Mr. Awthentik.
Yes, it is, Mr. Beard.
Next game on the docket's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 1-1, headed to Pittsburgh, who is also 1-1, and the Steelers are only 2.5-point favorites. The over/under in this game is 43.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I mean, I can't even think of the last time the Bengals were that close as far as the spread is when it comes to playing Pittsburgh. Are the Bengals? Yeah. You know, the Bengals are trying to make that turn. They had a rough game last week. They're kind of both of these teams, you don't really know what you're getting. The Steelers went up to Buffalo, beat Buffalo week 1, then turned around and lost last week to the Raiders. But the Raiders are a better team than I think a lot of people had anticipated. The Bengals beat the Vikings in week 1 and then turned around and lost a sloppy game to the Chicago Bears last week. So, listen. I've been a Joe Burrow guy since day one. I think Jamar Chase is a stud, and I'm loving to see him play at the level that he's playing at, especially after all that unnecessary flack he was getting from people because of his comments about the difference between the college football and the NFL football. You know, they'll take anything and they'll run with it. Jamar Chase is a stud. Joe Mixon. If Joe Mixon can stay healthy, and that's always been the if, and I know Awthentik is not a Mixon guy, but I think Joe Mixon is just getting tons of volume so far this year, and I think that's going to continue to be the case. Najee Harris on the opposite end of this game at running back has played every single offensive snap last week. So I mean, he's a guy that everybody's kind of looking forward to be this savior of the running game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think he saved a lot of people in fantasy last week with that receiving touchdown towards the end of the game. So. I mean, I like this game. I got the Bengals a little bit better than 2.5. I got the Bengals, I think, at like 3 or 3.5. So I'm just, I think at 2.5, I gotta stick with the Steelers. And I think this game goes over 43.5. I think it's probably gonna be a lot more high scoring than people are talking about. Deontay Johnson, I believe, is out in this game. So who's gonna step up? Is it gonna be Chase Claypool or Juju? I like Chase Claypool, especially in daily fantasy because he's so cheap. I think he's only like $5,900 on DraftKings. So that's where I'm gonna be at with this game. I'm gonna take the Steelers. I'm gonna take the Steelers to cover at 2.5. If you can get them at 3 or 3.5, I'd take the Bengals. And then I like the over.
Yeah, I like the over in this one too. The line is really close for the Bengals, who are a team that is struggling, if you ask me. Getting some lucky wins here too. I like Chase Claypool in this game. You know, last year when Deontay Johnson was out of the lineup, he had that 110-yard game with 4 touchdowns against the Eagles. Seems to thrive when he's pressured to be the number 1 guy. TJ Watt and Ben Roethlisberger are banged up in this game. That's going to make things interesting. Jamar Chase is actually going to be the second player in NFL history with a touchdown catch of at least 40 yards in each of his first 3 career games. Only one other player has done that. I never heard of this dude. His name is Billy Houghton. in 1952. I had a nugget about Juju Smith-Schuster in this game that's not on my notes, but he has the most consecutive games without a 100-yard game of any active wide receiver right now. I can't remember the number of how many games it was, but I remember it being a lot. It was up there like around 10 games plus or something like that. So I don't know about Juju Smith-Schuster, and that could have a lot to do with Ben Roethlisberger just aging. But look for Chase Claypool to make some plays in this game. I think the spread is too large. So I think
like me right now.
Yeah, I think the Steelers are going to cover this one pretty easy. And the over, I'm going to take the under in this game. I don't think the Bengals put up a lot of points in this game. And then I wanted to get to this one question real quick from Jeff Maldo. He says, "What's good, fellas? Carr or Hurts struggling with this one?" You can take that first.
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
I love, like I said, we love Derek Carr, but in fantasy, I got to go with Jalen Hurts because he's going to give you, in today's football, running back one numbers at the quarterback position. So, I mean, you're basically doubling up on stats there. I think Jalen Hurts is good for 60 to 80 yards on the ground this game. I think he's good for a touchdown on the ground and a touchdown throwing. So, just for me, I have to go with Jalen Hurts right now.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, Jalen Hurts had the one big throw last week that really padded his passing yards because he only had like 90 yards on 22 passes outside of that other throw. But he did make that throw. And we know his legs are he can always run the ball. No one's going to stop Jalen Hurts from running the ball. But I think I'm going to go Derek Carr here against the Miami Dolphins defense. I think he'll light it up in the first half, give you a good 3 touchdowns. Derek Carr's quarterback number 8 right now in fantasy football too.
Nugget alert.
Nugget alert. Hey, buffering nugget alert.
All right, we got another interesting one. Kareem Hunt and Rondale Moore. Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt hasn't been. I just haven't even heard his name much so far in the first 2 weeks. I'm not even sure what his stats look like, to be honest with you. But Rondale Moore is a budding superstar. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, he's about to be that guy.
And depending upon how much Hopkins, he is active, but how much he actually plays, if he takes a hit, he could, not play for the rest of the game. That's all it takes with those rib injuries is one good hit. And you know what I'm saying? You might be out for a little bit. So I'm definitely going to run with Rondale Moore. I got him sneaked into a bunch of lineups in daily fantasy as well. All right, next game on the docket. Speaking of injuries, it is the Indianapolis Colts, who are 0-2, at the Tennessee Titans, who are 1-1. The Titans are 4.5-point favorites. The over/under is 47.5. I mean, Carson Wentz is playing. I don't even know how you sprain both your ankles unless you was running from the police and you had to jump out the window. You know what I'm saying?
Right, a big jump.
That's how you sprain 2 ankles. But I mean, listen, we talked about this. First of all, big shout out to Michael Pittman. I've been talking about Michael Pittman for 2 years now, and he had a wide receiver 1 game last week. And I think you're going to see that for the rest of the season. If they're smart, get the ball to Michael Pittman Jr. The dude is a playmaker. And Pascal has sneakily had these touchdowns in each of the first couple of games. So he's another guy, you could probably sneak in if you're looking for a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, I'm looking for you to punch the ball in the end zone today. I think Jonathan Taylor has 2 touchdowns today. I think that this is going to be the game that he does it. Now, if Carson Wentz, that offensive line is supposed to be good. What happened to the Colts offensive line? I just do not know. But Carson Wentz feels like he is under attack every time the ball is snapped. Bars. And then, the Titans, it's just like, Derrick Henry just, he put that team on his back last week. I don't know if they're going to have that same sort of game plan. We're going to see. I think A.J. Brown has a big game this week as well. This is an interesting game. I think this is going to be a good one. I'm just not sold on Carson Wentz yet, man. I'm
I know. And playing banged up.
I'm not there. But 4.5 points seems a little sketchy. This feels like it could be a field goal game.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Titans on the money line, but I will take the Colts to cover that 4.5. And I'm going to take the over on the 47.5. Tell me what you got, Awthentik.
47.5, I definitely think we're going to get there. The Colts 0-2, man. That's really surprising, man. And I think a lot of it has to do with their run defense. Their run defense has definitely been struggling these first 2 games. 120 yards per game on the ground here. And this the crazy part is over the past 3 seasons, they've only allowed 100 or more yards 3 times. So the run defense is just not what we expected, just like that offensive line. And the Titans offensive line is coming into this game banged up, but I still don't think that'll slow them down. Derrick Henry's going to go off today. I think it'll be crazy. And I don't think that the Colts are going to be able to cover this spread here. I think the Titans will win this game pretty convincingly. I'm going to say by 2 scores here. So give me the Titans. I'm going to take the over in this one. I think this one's going to be like 35-14 or something like that. Titans.
No love.
Crazy thing is the Colts are 8-1 outright against the spread in their past 9 trips to Tennessee, but Carson Wentz wasn't on the roster. So there's that.
The face Awthentik said that Carson Wentz
there's that. I think those sack problems might be a Carson Wentz problem over there. We'll see, man. That dude.
That was what Diggy said. Diggy said Carson Wentz happened to that line.
Right, yo. And he just looks really slow, man. He just looks slow.
I know we both watched the Pat McAfee show, but the way they was talking about Carson Wentz, like,
yeah,
I don't know if you saw that episode.
Yeah, of course I did. Carson Wentz, man, I hope he could get it together, man. You know, because I never wish like for players to play bad, especially when you've shown that you can prove you could ball out already. But it's like, man, he's had a rough couple of years here, man.
It's just not working out for him. So T. Higgins for the Bengals is officially inactive, also. So that's another. So look for that. Jamar Chase, we were talking about. You know, he might have that game. Shout out to everybody in chat. 45 people watching right now.
Hey, yo, can I say this, man?
Yes, you can. You're out there.
I might be jumping the gun, right? I might be jumping the gun. This might be a Twitter clip in about a year or 2. I don't think Joe Burrow's the guy.
Yeah, I think you're on the track, and instead of hurdles, there's like cannons. And you're like Carl Lewis.
I don't think he's the guy, man. I don't know, man. When he drops back, I'm just like, I don't know if this is the guy, man. I don't know if this is the guy.
Hey, Joe Burrow, you got to show Awthentik you're the guy.
Yeah, this is going to sound crazy, but like I'm having more faith in a guy like Taylor Heineke these days than I am a guy like Joe Burrow.
You just trying to push me to talk about Taylor
Heineke. Keeping it authentic. I'm not keeping it pessimistic or optimistic. I'm keeping it authentic and it's realistic. I'm just using my eyes. The dude just doesn't look like that good of a quarterback. I don't know.
Now did you have those sort of feelings prior to the injury? Because there were points last year where he looked like he was the guy and more.
He can throw it, man, but a lot of quarterbacks that don't succeed in the NFL can throw it. It's everything else.
Very true.
When the pressure cooking, how you maneuver in the pocket.
Cooks there.
Oh, it cooks. It's sizzling over there. That offensive line is terrible.
Oh, look, hey. Happy belated birthday to Laylo.
Yeah, Laylo, I've been bringing him out. Hey, and this joint personally from Nike with the customized Nike dunks. New York Giants Nike dunks. Next. Oh, the shorts was a thing already. We got the shorts now. The shorts is in the mix. Laylo. Man. Hey, shout out to my homie Laylo. He just had a baby. I want to say he just got married too. You know, he's been a little out the mix. You know what I'm saying? But he's a Raiders fan. He's been talking about Derek Carr for a long, long, long time. So shout out to the homie. Go sub up to Mr. HD, man. He's got a dope tech channel if you ever need any vibes for how to get your podcast going in the right direction too. And he got some dope raps. He don't want to talk about that no more, but we brought
him on for an episode last season. And
Parlay.
We were all on the Carr train, man.
Yep.
Man, big shout outs to the homie Carr. We just gonna call
Derek Carr. Man, I've been talking Derek Carr. I've been talking Derek Carr up more than Laylo. I'm a Raiders fan now. You know what I'm saying?
All right, the next game is going to be the last game in the 1 o'clock slot. That's
a rack of 1 o'clock games, young.
East. Yeah, I know it is. It's going to be the video game Cardinals at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The video game Cardinals are 7.5-point favorites. The over-under in this game is 51.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to the Awthentik and The Beard graphics department because that
they're killing it.
Jaguars one looks sick.
Killing it right now. They're killing it. Team color codes and all that, man. Killing it. I'm telling you, they're really good. Shout out to the team, man. You looking at them right here.
Shout out to the team. So as we reported earlier in the hour, DeAndre Hopkins is active, man. I've been killing these beat drops today when I've been going over these games. Rondell Moore is a name that we should all be familiar with. But today is actually about Chase Edmonds and James Conner. I think that they have a big game today. This Jaguars run defense is horrendous. And every week that passes, I am getting closer and closer to a big plate of crow when it comes to the Jaguars having a winning record this season. I don't really got much for you here. I just think that Chase Edmonds and James Conner come out and have a really good game in the backfield. And that means maybe Kyler Murray also, because we all know Kyler Murray is a video game. DeAndre Hopkins is a video game. The Arizona Cardinals are a video game. That is just official. And, you know, Laviska
Kyler Murray trying to get on that Madden cover.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Madden, he wants the Murray 2022 is going to be the new game. You know what I'm saying? But big shout out to Laviska. He got a little banged up last week. He has been playing very well. I think Marvin Jones is the wide receiver 1 over there. But I look for Laviska and Jones.
Hey, listen, speaking of Marvin Jones real quick, he's the only Jaguar wide receiver with a red zone or end zone target through 2 weeks. That team is awful. They're awful. They are really, really bad. I don't care who the quarterback is over there. That team is struggling bad. And the running back is struggling now, too. James Robinson ain't looking like that guy you looked like last year.
Listen, I don't know what Urban Meyer has against James Robinson, but there is something obviously against him. And we talked about this last week. Carlos Hyde was getting touches.
Yeah,
like
ridiculous.
If Travis Etienne was healthy, I don't think James Robinson plays at all. So, I mean, we're going to have to wait and see, but maybe this is his week. I mean, who knows? This game could get ugly quick.
Yeah, this game's going to get ugly quick. This shouldn't be close. This shouldn't be close, man. I'm going to take the over in this one. I know you haven't made your pick yet. I'm going to take the over in this one. I think that the Cardinals are going to cover. Look out for Rondell Moore. 13 targets on the year, 11 receptions, 182 yards, and a touchdown in 2 games. That boy been balling. Kyle Murray, 689 yards and 7 touchdowns with 3 interceptions. I mean, the dude is just on fire right now. He's actually looking to break a record to be the first back-to-back Cardinals quarterback to throw for 400 passing yards since Carson Palmer.
Ooh, man.
Nuggets.
20 piece.
Hey, that little gift you sent me the other day with the sauce dipping. That joke was hilarious, dog. That joke was hilarious, man.
I'm right there with everything. The same place with Awthentik. I'm taking the Cardinals. Taking the Cardinals to cover. I'm taking the over. This might be one of those games where it looked like that Georgia Vanderbilt game I was telling you about from yesterday.
Yeah, you up 35 at the end of the first quarter and whatnot. It's looking bad. Arizona has covered in all of its past 3 games against Jacksonville, too. The Jags have failed to cover each of their past 3 games as a home underdog. So this ain't looking good for them.
No, not looking good. So we're going to jump right into the first 4 o'clock game. It's going to be those Miami Dolphins who are 1-1 at the Derek Carr Las Vegas Raiders, who are 2-0 and are only 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is 44.5 in this game. I believe Josh Jacobs is probably not going to be playing in this game. Obviously, we'll get an update on that injury closer to kickoff since this is a 4 o'clock game. But if he's not, Kenyon Drake is somebody who I'm sneaking into a few of my daily fantasy football lineups. Henry Ruggs finally showed up last week, so he's another wide receiver. Henry Ruggs, Bryan Edwards. I mean, they got weapons now. Those are outside of the Darren Waller weapons. So Darren Waller is a bazooka. He's a missile launcher, you know what I'm saying? But we got a couple little AKs on the side with Henry Ruggs and Bryan Edwards. So I think that offense continues to roll. Jacoby Brissett is not a bad quarterback, but he looked like a bad quarterback last week. I just don't know where they find the offense this week. And Mike Gesicki has been non-existent. I don't understand why they're not using him. He is a weapon at the tight end position. Jalen Waddle, I look to continue to have success. They're going to have to throw the ball because they're going to have to keep up with the Raiders offense, I think, this week. So, I mean, I'm going to take the Raiders, obviously, minus 3.5. And I'm going to take the over just because I think the Dolphins put up some points in later in this game as they're trying to keep pace with the Las Vegas Raiders.
I'm going to take the over in this game too, but I don't think the Dolphins are going to keep this close. I think the Dolphins are looking at back-to-back blowouts here. Jacoby Brissett is not that guy. I was a little bit iffy about him when he was with the Colts, thinking he might have deserved a starting job, but Jacoby Brissett is the only quarterback in the league with at least 25 starts to complete less than 60% of his passes. I don't like Jalen Waddle in this game with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback either, so if you got Jalen Waddle, I'd keep him on the bench like I'm keeping him on the bench today. Raiders quarterback Derek Carr, my man Derek Carr, Lalo in the building one time, HD Nation in the building one time, Raiders Nation in the building, leads the league in passing yards through 2 games with 817 yards. They say Miami's defense is supposed to be pretty good. I ain't seen it this year. I'm using my eyes. They don't look good. I also like the Raiders edge rushers, Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue, who 11 combined pressures last week against Pittsburgh. Yeah, look for them to put some pressure on his backup quarterback. I got the Dolphins getting blown out in this game. Taking the over, Raiders cover.
Shout out to Lucas for this because I forgot to touch on this. Will Fuller is back today. Big shout out to my boy. I had to make sure I'm in the right place. Notre Dame alum, Will Fuller. Let's go. Hopefully he can come out and have a good game. I always like to see, he had some issues, and I'm just glad
that
to
was
see
a personal issue he had, right? While he was off, because he was back off the suspension, still didn't didn't play yet.
I'm definitely glad to see him out there, and hopefully he can perform. Ali Akbar. The Dolphins are averaging like 8 points a game.
I always laugh at the Dolphins like that, but they struggling, man. They struggle mode right now.
Hey, you appreciate the advice. We appreciate the love. Thank you for all the love and support. Next game on the docket is going to be the Zach Wilson mom Jets, who are 0-2 at the Denver Broncos, who are 2-0. The Broncos are 10.5-point favorites. The over-under is 42. Kickoff is at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is an interesting matchup. Side note, sidebar, little thing. The Jets, Michael Carter, rookie running back out of University of North Carolina, and Javonte Williams, rookie running back out of University of North Carolina for the Denver Broncos. Former teammates in opposing backfields in this game today. We gave you guys Cortland Sutton last week. And shout out to, I forgot whoever it was, but thanked us for that little nugget. It was a big nugget because Cortland Sutton is just killing it right now when it comes to, these deep passes and just chunking up
second in the league in air yards right now, and so he's going to get them targets. That boy balling.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an easy game to call. I think that Denver Broncos team is legit. I think they're going to win. I think they cover the 10.5. I think the Jets look better than they did last week. The Denver Broncos defense is nothing to not look at. But the Jets were so bad last week. I think that they have to have some sort of a bounce back week here. But I think Michael Carter, you're going to start to see more of emerge out of this backfield for the New York Jets. And also Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon appear to be a nice little duo of running backs so far. So, shout out Evan Ingram, active today. You heard it first from our very own reporter in the game, Marjorie. We appreciate it. I'm all over the Broncos in this game. And also, Noah Fant. Keep your eye on Noah Fant. He might be a sleepy tight end pickup today.
I like that. Sleepy. He better wake up and get on the field and start making some plays. But I like both running backs in this game for the Broncos in this game too. Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams. They both should light it up. Von Miller, man, is back. I will say that. Von Miller is back. 3 sacks and 5 tackles for a loss in his first 2 games here. Zach Wilson, man, tied for the league lead in interceptions with 5 right now. He's been sacked more than any quarterback in the NFL. He's been sacked 10 times in 2 games. That experiment is not looking good, and it doesn't 50%. Look like it was the quarterback's fault when you see your boy Darnold in Carolina balling the way he's been balling lately.
Think about that. Zach Wilson's pressured 50% of his dropbacks. Imagine being a quarterback and be like, okay, I'm about ready to drop back. It's 1 or 2 things happen. I'm either going to get blasted or I'm going to be
that means you got to get rid of that ball quickly, man. And I also like Teddy Bridgewater, man. There's only 3 quarterbacks who have completed 70% of their passes and scored over 20 fantasy points in both weeks this season. It's Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and your boy Teddy P. Or Teddy B, we'll call him. But I like the Teddy Pendergrass vibes for all you youngins out there that don't know about that. The New York Jets have covered just 1 game in September since 2019. The Jets about to get they ass beat. Let's just keep it for real here, okay? So, yeah, give me the Broncos in this game. That 10.5 is not looking like too much. I'm going to take the over in this one, and let's keep it pushing.
Hey, look. You know Awthentik is dropping a gem when you see me, like, kind of, like, just fade out laughing on the side of the screen.
Yeah, real life, man, real life.
This is gonna be. It's gonna be hopefully not too brutal to watch, but I think I'm looking to see improvement from the Jets because I do like those young playmakers they have. Elijah Moore, Michael Carter, Zach Wilson. They just got to get things figured out on the offensive line. That's just all there is to it.
Jets and Jaguars, man, worst teams in the league right now.
Yeah, not the Texans. Shout out to
not
Davis
the Texans.
Mills.
Not the Texans. Who was saying? I believe I might have been one of the only people on Twitter saying the Texans were going to be better than people thought they would be. Now look at them. And our boy Tyrod gets hurt. That's going to ruin things for about a good 8 weeks here, I'd imagine. But the Texans aren't as bad as you think they were. You know, the quarterback situation is one thing. But, yeah, next man up.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2-0. 1.5-point favorites at the Los Angeles Rams, who are 2-0. The over-under is 55.5. Game kicks off at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is my game of the week. I think this game is going to be absolutely insane. I was looking at some numbers before we went live, and it was Tampa Bay has scored 30-plus points in 9 straight games, including the playoffs, and they've won every single one of those games. They are the only person. That's the longest streak in NFL history. The Los Angeles Rams, on the other hand, have not allowed a 30-point game in the regular season, and I forget how many games it was. I think it was 9 games or something like that.
I think it was 9.
So one of those streaks is going to end today, I would imagine. So I think this game is just there's playmakers all over the field. There is no Antonio Brown. So Scotty Miller will probably step up. Last time when Antonio Brown was out, Scotty Miller was the guy to step into that position. Although Tyler Johnson is a name to keep your eye out on. I mean, you got 2 second-year wide receivers on both of these teams. You got Van Jefferson on the Los Angeles Rams and Tyler Johnson for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Leonard Fournette is also getting the start in this game, so that might be something to keep your eye on. Cooper Kupp has been on absolute fuego so far this year. He's a must-start in all season long. Everybody knows that.
A little nugget on Cooper Kupp real quick before you move to Robert Woods.
Give him the nugget.
He can become the 4th player in the Super Bowl era with 100 receiving yards and a touchdown in each of his first 3 games in a season. Only Randy Moss, Marvin Harrison, Jerry Rice, and Dwight Clark have ever done that.
Whew.
It's good company right there. But you were talking about Robert Woods.
Robert Woods. I think Robert Woods in daily fantasy, like DraftKings, FanDuel, all that, Robert Woods is going to be the go-to guy because everybody's probably going to be playing Cooper Kupp. So if you want to get a little bit different, stand out, I think Robert Woods. Listen, and I said it once, I said it twice, I'm going to say it a third time. Matthew Stafford throws the ball 60 times today.
60. All right.
60 times
you're
Matthew
getting a text from me right after this game goes off.
But I mean, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, 2 touchdowns in each of the first 2 games. I mean, I don't know if that can continue. His price has definitely gone crazy through the roof on DraftKings and FanDuel. I think this game is going to be an absolute blast to watch, a shootout, or as we have officially adopted here at Awthentik and The Beard, a boat race.
A boat race.
Boat race.
A boat race.
Listen, I'm going to take I really like the Los Angeles Rams this year, but Tampa Bay has just their defense worries me a little bit more. So I'm gonna take the Los Angeles Rams to win this game. So I'll take them at +1.5. And I'm gonna take the over on the 55.5. This is gonna be one hell of a matchup.
All right, here we go, guys.
Tell me what you got, Awthentik.
Get your cameras ready. Get your cameras ready. The Rams are gonna outright win this game. I'm taking the over in this one. Don't forget, Darrell Henderson is ruled out. I like Tyler Higbee in this game. He's got 6 receptions on the season, 7 targets, 76 yards. And I also like Mike Evans in this game. Mike Evans on the road has been a baller. 12 times in his NFL career, he's had over 29.5 points. They all have happened on the road. So I'm looking for him to ball out in this game, but I don't think it'll be enough for the Bucs to get the W in this one. Matthew Stafford, man, he's balling out too. 599 passing yards. That's the second most through 2 games by any Rams quarterback over the past 20 seasons. The other guy to do that was Sam Bradford. But yeah, give me the Rams in this game, man. Cooper Kupp, I like what Matthew Stafford is doing. I think they'll rely on this running game to get things going early, play action late. Give me the Rams in this one. I'm telling y'all. This is going to be the game that's going to surprise people because the Bucs played against two teams that are lackluster on the defensive side of the ball in the Cowboys and the Atlanta Falcons. The Rams are no slouch. We're looking at the number 1 defense from last year. Give me the Rams outright in this game, man.
Okay, let me ask you a quick question before we move on. Do you think there's a likelihood that this game ends up like a defensive battle, like a 13-10 game?
No.
Okay.
Nope. No way. But I don't think we're going to get to that 60 either. I don't think we're going to get to that 60 passes you talking about with your boy Stafford. I think we'll get to about 40.
Maybe we'll meet in the middle at 50. We'll see. You're going to be getting a text from me about 7:45. Yeah, the third quarter, huh? All right, last game of the 4 o'clock games is going to be the Seattle Seahawks, who are 1-1 and 2.5-point favorites at the Minnesota Vikings, who are 0-2 and have lost 2 games to last-second field goals. The over-under is a whopping 54.5. This game kicks off at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's looking like we will have no Dalvin Cook, which means Alexander Mattison is up to bat. He is a definite guy that you'll probably see a lot of.
That's who I was thinking about as far as the running back. It was Madison. Yeah.
Alexander Mattison, you'll probably see him get thrown around a lot in the daily fantasy sports world once you get to those 4 o'clock late swaps going on. The Seattle Seahawks, Tyler Lockett is just absolutely insane right now. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And then DK Metcalf, that's the problem when you're trying to stack the Seattle Seahawks in fantasy. It's like you go with both of them, but they're both so expensive, and then it's like one of them. I'm waiting for that time where it's like 9 catches, 125 yards, and a touchdown from Lockett, and then 6 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown from Metcalf.
Yeah.
Chris Carson had a great game last week, but most of that was because of those 2 touchdowns came on turnovers, and the field position allowed them to, have him, punch it in for 2 touchdowns. The Vikings defense is supposed to be better this year. They're absolutely horrible. I don't know what's going on, but, I mean, they've been shredded left and right. Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are both having, solid starts to the season because Kirk Cousins is throwing the ball, it feels like, 40, 50 times a game. But, I mean, they're always going to put up these numbers offensively. It's their defense that just is slowing them down. But the name to look out for in this game is KJ Osborne, wide receiver from the Minnesota Vikings.
He has stealing all my little nuggets.
He has been getting his so far in this game, in this season, and even doing so without really taking away much targets and receptions from Justin Jefferson.
He's got 15 targets in 2 games.
So like they're definitely spreading the ball around between those 3 guys. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Minnesota Vikings don't really have a tight end with Irv Smith out for the season. So that's where I'm at. I think the Seattle wins this game. I think they cover the spread, and I'm going to take the over 54.5.
Yeah, I'm right with you on all that. I'm taking over. Seattle will cover. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game here, a boat race, as Cernak would say, for sure. Russell Wilson has a 7-0 record against Minnesota. That's tied for second best by any active quarterback against any one opponent. So I'm looking for him to improve that to 8-0. Kirk Cousins, man, he's been balling out too. 4 straight games with multiple passing touchdowns and no interceptions. That's the longest streak in franchise history and the longest active streak in the NFL right now. So look for both of these offenses to put up big points. I think that Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson are both going to put up 100 yards in this game, and I think DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are both going to put up 100 yards in this game. So take a look at that. Give me the Seattle Seahawks in this one. And, I think it'll be a high-scoring game. I think Seattle wins by about 7.
I love that. 400-yard receivers in one game.
Yeah. Let's get it.
Bookmark it.
I don't know if you book it, but you bookmark it.
Do we bookmark it or we book it?
We're gonna bookmark it. We're gonna bookmark it. Come back to it. Might have to do a little more reading, but we're not gonna book it.
There we go. We're gonna bookmark it. There's a difference.
We're gonna bookmark it.
And the Sunday night game is going to be the Green Bay Packers 1-1 at the San Francisco 49ers, who are 2-0, and they are 3-point favorites. The over/under in tonight's game is going to be 50.5. I mean, listen, the big news in this game for me is the fact that there's going to be a third-string tackle blocking Aaron Rodgers blindside this game. And the 49ers defense is pretty good. But I think this Packers team is going to have to start getting the ball rolling a little faster. I mean, it just feels like they've been coming out the gate very slow in these first 2 games. And I'm looking for Aaron Rodgers to, put up some big numbers. Obviously, Aaron Jones had a insane game last week.
I hate him.
Single-handedly beat me in more than one league.
Me too. I hate him.
It hurt to watch, but like that he's a weapon. And then 49ers, obviously, unfortunately, it's the same sort of story as it was last year with the injuries. Running back stable of running backs is just going down, and it's time for Trey Sermon. Listen, we as in the fantasy community was high on Trey Sermon. I mean, the guy was a absolute monster at Ohio State. Shout out to Dwayne. I'm sure he can testify for the Trey Sermon love. But that mysterious inactive week 1 kind of threw everybody for a loop, and then next thing you know, they just all the running backs just blocked it all power 2 times. And so Trey Sermon's gonna get his shot today. Brandon Ayuk, are we still milk carton?
Where's Brandon Ayuk?
What's going on? Deebo Samuel is one of the top.
Tuck your chains away.
The top wide receivers.
Put your bike in the backyard, okay? Because Deebo he's about to pull up 282 receiving yards on the season right now. That's the most by a 49ers player through 2 games in a season since the GOAT, Jerry Rice. That boy balling. You definitely got to put Deebo in the lineup one time.
Listen, I hate to do this, but I think I have to take the Green Bay Packers. I just don't see how the Green Bay Packers go 1-2, and everybody knows Aaron Rodgers got it out. Aaron got it out for the 49ers because they passed on him in the draft. That was his home team he cheered for. They decided to go with Alex Smith. So Aaron going to have a crazy game here tonight.
22 fantasy points in 5 of his 7 career games versus the 49ers, too. So he's balled out against the 49ers, probably because he got that little chip on his shoulder like you was talking about.
I'm going to go with the Packers +3. I'm also going to take the over on 50.5. This is gonna be interesting. We'll see how Garoppolo plays, because Sunday night game, there's gonna be a lot of pressure, and you didn't see no Trey Lance last week. You saw some Trey Lance week 1. It'll be interesting to see if they throw some Trey Lance out there this week.
Yeah, dealing with that little injury. I think it was a hand injury too. So yeah, give me the Packers in this game. It surprises me the 49ers are 2-0, but can't. They went against the Lions week 1, and who was it against week 2? The Eagles. Yeah, the Eagles. And that 2 teams that are kind of Eagles are on the fence. But yeah, give me the Packers in this one. I think the Packers will cover the 3, and 50.5. Yeah, I think we'll get there.
All right. This is the point in the show where we roll off our NFC East teams. And the first game that we will be going over will be Awthentik's New York Giants. The Atlanta Falcons, who are 0-2, head to New York, who are also 0-2. The New York Giants are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under for this game is going to be 47.5 points. Mr. Awthentik, tell me what you got.
I got Eli Manning, baby. Retiring that number 10. I got 2 of these, man. That's my guy, man. Shout out to Eli Manning. Got us 2 Super Bowl wins, man. This matchup, man, it's interesting. We got 2 0-2 teams that are desperate for a win here. Mike Davis, sit him. Y'all not going to be able to run the ball against my New York Giants today. Cordell Patterson has got 7 of the 8 red zone snaps for the Falcons last week. I think the Giants defense is going to dominate this Falcons running game today. The Falcons defense has allowed 32 points in week 1 and 48 points in week 2. We know week 2 was against the Super Bowl champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Atlanta's looking to avoid 8 straight losses for the first time since 1996. The Giants are attempting to prevent back-to-back 0-3 starts for the second time in franchise history. Only other time that happened was in 1995 to 1996. Sterling Shepard. My man Joseph Balby hit me up in the DM. He said, I need a little bit of fantasy advice for Sterling Shepard and for Kenny Galladay. Sterling Shepard has been on fire, man. He has at least 7 receptions for 70 yards in 4 straight games, the second longest streak by a Giants player since 1950. Only Odell Beckham had that streak for 6 straight games in 2014. I think Saquon Barkley, I don't want to take too many nuggets. I think Saquon Barkley's going to have a really good game. This Falcons defense is ranked They're the 6th worst ranked defense against the run this year. So I'd look for Saquon Barkley to go off. I drafted him in one league. Slow start. I think he's going to get it going today. I got big faith in my guy, Saquon Barkley. Cordell Patterson, last week he had 9 touches to Mike Davis's 18. But Patterson narrowed that in week 2. I'm sorry, that was week 1 statistics. In week 2, he had 12, and Mike Davis had 16. So this might be the first game where you see Cordell Patterson get more carries than Mike Davis. Give me my Giants in this game. We definitely covering that 2.5. And give me the over because Danny Dub's about to put the first W on the board today for the Giants on the 2021 season. And, man, just look for this offense to just completely go off, and this defense better get back to looking like they looked last year. Hopefully we hold this Falcons team to under 14 points in this game, and the Giants come out with the first dub of the season. You know what it is, man. Giants Nation in the building. Y'all better show up and show out for your boy, Eli Manning, baby. I don't know if y'all saw Victor Cruz and Mario Manningham talking about how valuable Eli Manning was to that 2011 Super Bowl team. They talked about how when both of them went to opposite teams, how greatly they suffered from playing with different quarterbacks. They talked about Eli Manning's preparation on Fridays before the games. After practice, they would always have to show up before they even took a shower. I'm going to post a clip on my Twitter right now. They were like, yo, before anything happened after practice, we had to meet up with Eli Manning to talk about key plays that we would audible and make hot routes to for games. And Eli Manning was just the GOAT at that. So shout out to Victor Cruz, shout out to Mario Manningham, and most importantly, shout out to my guy, Eli Manning.
Yes, big shout out to Eli Manning. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer in the Beard's book. I know there's always a lot of discussion about that, but the dude showed up every single week and played. That is one of the most difficult things to do. He's got 2 Super Bowls. He's beaten the GOAT 2 times. So, I mean, look, it's just he is that guy, and congratulations on the jersey number retirement for Eli Manning. Look, this game, Saquon Barkley is going to have a big game this week. The stars have all aligned for me on Saquon Barkley. The fact that, he played 80+% of the snaps against Washington last week shows me that they're starting to have a little bit more faith in how healthy he is. He had that one breakaway run, and I think that he just kind of needed one of those to kind of get things going. And then you had the long week of rest since they played on Thursday night last week, and then the Falcons defense is just so bad. All of these stars are aligning for Saquon Barkley to have a great game. One of my sleeper lineups for DraftKings today includes a Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard stack, bringing it back with Kyle Pitts, the tight end for the Atlanta Falcons. If there is one area of the field that the Giants are really bad in, it is that middle of the field. And I hope, I hope that Matt Ryan realizes this and attacks that middle of the field and gives the rock to Kyle Pitts. I'm also a big Cordell Patterson guy, so I think that this game is going to probably be a high-scoring game. I'm definitely taking the Giants -2.5. Definitely taking the over 47.5. I think this is going to be a big game for Sterling Shepard. He is one of the top players in the league when it comes to targets and receptions. I just think he's having this really stellar year, and it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the offense comes together for Daniel Jones, including Evan Ingram, who will be back for his first game this season.
Yeah, and shout out to Diggy. Y'all make sure to sub up to Diggy if you're not already subbed up to him. He says they're saying Tony's going to have a big role today and Devontae Booker's inactive. So maybe we see a little bit of Brightwell, man. I've been wanting to see Brightwell in the lineup. Bowling ball style kind of running back. I feel like he's a downhill kind of guy that can also be effective in the passing game too. So we'll see how that two-headed monster between Saquon Barkley and Gary Brightwell works out today.
Yes, sir. And the next NFC East game that we will be talking about will be the Washington football team, who are 1-1, fresh off their lucky victory against the New York Giants. We'll be heading to Buffalo to face the Buffalo Bills, who are also 1-1. And the Buffalo Bills are a 7-point favorite. The over-under is 45.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I pretty much I stayed away from this game betting. I did take a couple of bets with Washington when they were at 7.5-point underdogs. I just think that's a lot of points. This game could go either way. It could be a rout. It could be close. Washington could sneak out with a dub. Who knows? But Terry McLaurin is the guy. You got to go with Terry McLaurin no matter what format you're playing in. The dude he's finally getting those amount of targets that he needs. The Washington Sleeper for Buffalo is going to be Dawson Knox. Washington, a la New York Giants, struggles in the middle of the field. Dawson Knox is a very, underrated tight end. You might see him get a couple of passes in the red zone. Obviously, Josh Allen is going to be something that Washington is going to have to be able to contain, whether it be on the ground or through the air. He kind of has not necessarily taken a step back because it's only a few games into the season, but he did have some of those very low completion percentage games so far. Stephon Diggs is somebody you always have to keep your eye out on. I think that Washington's going to have I want them to play one safety, but then against the Bills, it's like Stephon Diggs. Can we really rely on one safety back there? I don't know. Devin Singletary has been playing really well so far. If Buffalo could find a way to actually run the ball, it might get kind of scary. I am going to take the Washington football team to cover the 7 points. I wish it was 7.5, but it is down to 7, so I'm a little sketchy on taking that 7 points. But I think Buffalo eventually will win this game, unfortunately. The over-under at 45.5, I feel like we always take the over. I think this game is – I don't remember what I said. What did I say? I said 23-20, I think, was the final score. I
can't even remember what I said on Thursday.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take the under. I think they barely get to the under. I think it's going to probably be like a 23-20 game. So that's where I'm at with this game. Tell me what you got.
I think the Bills are going to cover this, and I'm going to take the over in this game. Taylor Heineke has been able to put up points with that Washington offense in every game he's played in pretty much. You see the spark that he brings to your offense. So I think y'all are going to put up somewhere around 20. And I think the Bills will put up somewhere around 30. So I'm looking at maybe a 27-17 kind of score here. I think the Bills are going to definitely cover. I like Logan Thomas in this game, man. Through 2 weeks, 8 catches, 75 yards, 1 touchdown on the season. And my sleeper in this game is J.D. McKissick. 5 catches on the year for 83 yards and a touchdown. I look for him to get another touchdown in this game. We know Stephon Diggs, man. He's got 7 100-yard games dating back to last season. He's only gained 69 and 60 in his first 2 games this season. So I'm looking for him to have a big game in week 3 here. Josh Allen, same thing. He's been held under 18 fantasy points in both games. In his final 5 games of last season, he was over 18 in all of those games. So I'm looking for Josh Allen to get that connection going back with Diggs. If he can't, I think Josh Allen will regress this season and be more of the type of quarterback he was in year 2 when he was more around a 60% completion percentage. Last season, he was more around a 70%. I think he finished the year around 69%. But, yeah, give me the Bills in this game. It won't surprise me if Washington comes out and hangs in this game because the Bills have been a little bit up and down so far this season, so I'm not too sure about that. But for now, I'm going to take the Bills to cover that 7, and I'll take the over 45.5.
Man.
A big shout-out to Dan one time in the chat, yo. Where's that one joint I wanted? This joint right here, yo. LaMontagne. I like the last name off the bat, but appreciate you for recognizing the quality, man. And if we blow up or if we don't, it don't matter. As long as y'all here rocking with us, man, we got big love for the whole Awthentik and The Beard Nation that shows up, the day ones who've been here since day one, man. It's a beautiful thing, yo. So we appreciate y'all. Shout out to Dan one time.
Shout out to Dan. A waterfly sounding like the Beard over here. 4 sacks on Allen today.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. Y'all got 4 last week against the Giants, so yeah, that wouldn't be too crazy.
Yeah, maybe we up that to 6 sacks.
Get that 7, yeah, like you had last season.
I didn't want to go too far. I didn't want to go too far.
I didn't want to go too far.
Last game is going to be the Monday night matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 1-1, heading to Dallas, who are 1-1. Dallas is a 3-point favorite. The over-under is 51.5 points. This game kicks off Monday night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ooh, man, Jalen Hurts. I want to see how we talked about this a little bit on Thursday. I just want to see how he does under the lights. I got a feeling that he's going to come out and show up. I think it's going to be a boat race. Cowboys.
Hopefully it won't be a boat trip. You like that? I'm working.
Man, Awthentik and The Beard killing it on the parlay today. Look, it all depends on which Cowboys team decides to show up offensively. Game plan-wise, is it going to be the week 2, double-headed running game of Pollard and Zeke, or is it going to be the week 1, Dak throwing like Matthew Stafford 60 passes? You know what I'm saying? We don't know where this game's going to go. The the script of the game is going to really dictate if we're going to get to that over under 51.5 points. Look, this line has dropped down to 3. If it was 3.5, I will take the Eagles 3.5. I think the Cowboys win this game, but I think it's by a field goal. So if you can get this game at 3.5, I'm going to take – I would take the Eagles plus 3.5, but I like the Cowboys to win, Eagles to cover at 3.5, and I think we're going to get to the over 51.5. I'm a little worried about that over 51.5, but I think in the end we'll get there.
Yeah, I'm with you on getting to the over 51.5 for sure. I think it's going to be an explosive game. 2 high-powered offenses, 2 quarterbacks that can actually run the ball, even though Dak Prescott hasn't been doing that. I don't even think he had a carry last game. Jalen Hurts, man, he's got 416 rushing yards and 6 career starts. Dude is like a running back playing quarterback. It's the 3rd most by a quarterback through 6 career starts since 1950. Lamar Jackson had 466, and Tim Tebow had 439. Shout out to Tim Tebow doing his thing on ESPN First Take, too. Even though I've been finding myself not watching First Take, but I do like that Max Kellerman show. That Max Kellerman show with Keyshawn and Jason Williams. Real dope content I like. Very laid-back morning vibes. Quiet, not all screaming in my face, a la Stephen A. Smith. I think you got to sit Dak Prescott in this game. Against the Eagles, he got 7 interceptions in 8 games. That's his most versus any other opponent. Tony Pollard, I don't know if you spoke on Tony Pollard, man. He had 109 yards and a touchdown last week. Him and Ezekiel Elliott had about the same amount of touches in week 2. Zeke had 18, Pollard had 16, so just 2 behind him. Home team has covered each of the past 5 matchups in this series. So, yeah, give me Dallas Cowboys in this game. I think we'll get to the 51.5, and I think they'll cover. I don't think it'll be that close. I think Dallas is going to win this game by about a good somewhere between 8 and 10 points.
Interesting. Man, I feel like we could just we're clicking on these games, man. We're trying to get these tickets. We're trying to get these Twitter clips. These nuggets. They are coming for you guys.
Shout out to the 65 in the building right now, man. This was a lit show, man. I appreciate everybody pulling up. Giants Nation is in the building one time. Y'all know how we do. We need this big dub today, man. Eli Manning in the building. I know a lot of people are going to be at that game too, man. Y'all be safe. Make sure y'all, don't drink too much while you tailgating. Make sure you eat good. That's the key to a good drinking night is you got to eat good, man. If you don't eat your meals, man, you're going to be throwing up somewhere later on at the end of the night, stumbling, falling. We don't want that. We know how that goes.
Tank texted me and asked me if I want my lamb chop medium rare. I said absolutely. Big shout out to Tommy Bernhard podcast for the $4.99 super chat. Say, do they rub your dough? They do if you win. So hopefully, Washington football team can get a win. New York Giants can get a win. You know what I'm saying? For Awthentik, even though as a Washington football team fan, we want everybody who's not Washington in our division to lose. But, we'll see how it goes. Big matchup Monday night with the Eagles and the Cowboys. One of those teams is going to come out 1-2. So it's definitely important for Washington and New York to get some dubs today because of the way that game is going to come out. Because one of the teams is going to be 2-1.
Very important for y'all right here. If y'all could get a W today, that one of the teams in the Dallas Eagles game is going to fall to 1-2. That you could be sitting at the top of the division. So, yeah, and the Giants could get right back in the mix with a W today. Kind of hoping for a tie in the Eagles-Cowboys game, to be honest. We'll see how that goes,
Yeah, so big shout-out to everybody who tuned in today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and the finally not Periscope, Twitter stream. So
I wonder how many people we got from the Twitter, man, the Twitter universe. That'd be cool to get some people watching us on there.
Yeah, and then don't forget, we did put a link to the GoFundMe for Mike Tagliere, who passed away yesterday from COVID. So just wanted to, once again, shine some light on that, send some love and good vibes to his family. And big shout-out to everybody in the fantasy football community. Big shout-out to everybody in the Washington football team community and the New York Giants community. We appreciate all the love and the support. Don't forget to keep an eye out for Awthentik's Giant overreaction.
Oh yeah, this week I'm gonna have Entertainer Talking Sports. That should be Monday. Yeah, so tomorrow we'll do a Giant overreaction. Hopefully we get the dub so the overreactions can all be in the positive. Giants going to the playoffs. Are we going to the Super Bowl?
It's so funny you say that because I was literally thinking exactly that.
Daniel Jones, the best quarterback in the league? Yeah, I want all that smoke. Let's go, man. Let's go. This is going to be a big week, man. I'm looking forward to this Sunday, man. Just got to set some fantasy lineups myself here and then, get these streams ready and turn the basement studio into a whole sports bar for about a good 8 to 10 hours here.
Oh, it's a great thing. It's a great thing. Thank you, guys. As always, we appreciate all the love and all the support. Shout out to Eli,
Big 10,
Manning.
baby. Big 10.
That number 10 getting retired today. So, it's been a fun ride this Sunday. Hopefully, you guys will win some money, win some fantasy games, and your home team will win too. As always, everybody, stay classy.
Hey, we got to get one of these before we dip. Left side.
Strong side. Biceps in the chat as we roll out. Everybody enjoy the day. Peace.
Don't care.